This is a season filled with a special sense of destiny for both Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, as the two clubs will face each other up to 6 times across 3 competitions: La Liga, the Copa del Rey, and the Champions League. Tonight, the two giants of La Liga play their first match in the Champions League quarter-finals. Atletico will be looking for revenge after losing 1-2 in La Liga just 3 days ago. Or will the Catalan giants once again leave the red half of Madrid in sorrow? Barca are very strong this season, especially in decisive matches. They become even more dangerous. With the nature of a Champions League quarter-final, there are no weak teams. Everyone knows how strong Barca are when playing at home. But Atletico are ready to go there, play attacking football, and compete on equal footing, coach Diego Simeone shared before the match. On the other side, Barca's coach Hansi Flick was asked about repeatedly facing Atletico this season.
He calmly responded,
"We just need to play according to our style and keep a cool head, like in the previous match." Since the beginning of 2025, the two teams have faced each other 7 times, and that number will rise to 9 after this quarter-final tie. Barca have completely dominated Atletico with 5 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss in those 7 matches. Most recently, Flick's team defeated Simeone's side 2-1 away from home. It was a sweet victory for Barca, as they had been trailing before Robert Lewandowski scored the decisive goal in the 87th minute. The only time Barca fell to Atletico in more than a year came in the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-final in the 2025/2026 season. Atletico created a real shock by demolishing Barca 4-0 at home. Barca then recovered strongly to win 3-0, but everything had already come too late.
Barca's head-to-head record against Atletico
Is clearly dominant, but their fans still cannot fully swallow the bitterness of being knocked out by Atletico from a major competition in the 2025/2026 season. Barca have won 2 consecutive matches against Atletico since that nightmare night away, which has helped ease the pain somewhat, but it is still not enough. Barca will only truly get over that defeat in the Copa del Rey semi-finals if they manage to defeat Atletico in the Champions League quarter-finals. The upcoming 2 matches carry greater importance than all previous encounters between the two sides in domestic competitions. Coach Simeone emphasized this. Put aside the previous matches and focus on the 2 games that are life or death in nature. Meanwhile, Coach Flick affirmed that Barca's goal is to go all the way in the Champions League, and to achieve that, they must defeat Atletico.
Barca versus Atletico
Is a matchup that is already very familiar and full of history for fans, but it always remains attractive because of 2 completely contrasting football philosophies. On one side, Atletico are absolutely loyal to the pragmatic football of coach Simeone. On the other, Barca always play attractive football, aiming to dominate their opponents regardless of who is in charge on the touchline. A signature feature in clashes between Barca and Atletico is the fierce physical battles. In the most recent match, Atletico's Nicolas Gonzalez was sent off before the end of the first half. The referee also showed a red card to Barca's Gerard Martin, but after reviewing VAR, the decision was overturned. Through each match between Barca and Atletico this season, the level of intensity has continued to rise. Heading into tonight's Champions League quarter-final, the tension is expected to be even more intense. Exactly 10 years later, the two teams meet again in the Champions League. In the 2015/2016 season, Barca were defeated by Atletico. The Catalan giants won 2-1 in the first leg at Camp Nou, but lost 0-2 away. Even earlier, in the 2013/2014 quarterfinals, Atletico also caused heartbreak for Barca. From what has happened in the past in the Champions League, Atletico will gain more belief to defeat Barca. On the contrary, Barca will have even more motivation to win and settle an old debt. Barca fans will look at other statistical angles to build confidence before kickoff. Atletico have never won an away match in the Champions League against Spanish opponents, with 4 losses and 1 draw. They have also failed to win in their last 6 away knockout matches. The last time Atletico won in a knockout round was against Manchester United at Old Trafford in March 2022. Barca have lost only 2 of their last 18 home matches. In a run of 30 Champions League games, Barca have failed to score in only 1 match. Coach Flick of Barca currently holds the highest win rate among managers with at least 10 Champions League matches. Specifically, his team has won 31 out of 42 matches, equivalent to a 73.3% win rate. In knockout matches, he also has an impressive record with 12 wins out of 17 matches, achieving a 70.6% win rate. Opta's supercomputer predicts that Barca have nearly a 60% chance of winning, while Atletico's chances stand at 20%. This is an acceptable probability given Barca's home advantage and superior form. Flick's team aims not only to win, but to win convincingly to create a strong advantage before the second leg. Meanwhile, for Coach Simeone, securing a point at Camp Nou would be enough before returning home and waiting for another nightmare scenario for Barca. Barca are in their most stable phase of the season and ready to defeat anyone. But Atletico always show their cold-blooded nature in decisive matches. The mentality of Atletico and coach Simeone in the Champions League is something that cannot be underestimated. It is a very unpredictable match, but the most likely scenario is a narrow win for Barca, Marca predicted. Dario AS predicted, Atletico are a team made for life-or-death matches. It is very difficult to predict what Simeone's team will do or what surprises they will bring. Barca may be rated higher, but Atletico are ready to make it a very difficult game. Lamine Yamal is on the verge of making Champions League history as the youngest player to reach 10 direct goal contributions in a single season, surpassing the previous record set by Erling Haaland. Yamal is the #1 star of the match, carrying a huge amount of expectation from Barca fans. If Barca have Yamal, then Atletico place their trust in Julian Alvarez. The Argentine forward is currently Atletico's standout player in this Champions League campaign, leading the team in goals, assists, and chances created. Alvarez has scored 8 goals and provided 4 assists in the 2025/2026 Champions League. It would be a major omission not to mention Antoine Griezmann. Griezmann is the bridge of this long-standing connection between Atletico and Barca. The French forward once left Atletico to join Barca for 2 seasons, then left Camp Nou and returned to Atletico to revive his peak years. In the most recent meeting between Atletico and Barca in the Champions League, Griezmann scored a brace to eliminate Barca from the 2015/2016 quarterfinals. This season may be the last time Griezmann plays in the Champions League, as well as the last time he faces Barca. The final moments of brilliance from Griezmann's feet are what Atletico fans hope will make the difference in this high-intensity, quarter-final clash.
Coaches Flick and Simeone
Understand each other very well after continuous encounters over the past 2 years. In the Champions League, all statistics are only for reference. Ahead of them is the most intense match they have ever faced each other in, with a completely different nature. It is a stage where a single individual mistake from a player will be punished heavily, and a tactical miscalculation must be paid for with an unfavorable result. Tonight, Camp Nou is ready to overwhelm Atletico with tremendous pressure from all 4 stands. The cheers, the pounding heartbeats, the eyes waiting for every moment. Everything will blend into a suffocating atmosphere that only the Champions League can bring. Barca fans are waiting for a victory to affirm their strength and continue their journey toward conquering another Champions League title. Meanwhile, Atletico carry their dream of conquering the peak of the Champions League after many years of waiting.
Barca will push their line high,
Doing everything possible to dominate Atletico and create attacking waves to heat up the atmosphere at Camp Nou. Atletico will continue to play in their familiar style, patient, cold, and waiting for the right moment to deliver a decisive blow to Barca. After the match between Barca and Atletico on April 5th ended, many theories emerged on social media suggesting that coach Simeone deliberately instructed his players to play aggressively and target Barca players ahead of the more important Champions League quarter-final clash. Taoufik Seydou became the center of controversy. Barca fans were frustrated with his aggressive tackles, believing that he was a secret weapon sent on by Simeone to disrupt and damage Barca's squad. Of course, a theory is still just a theory, but it is a factor that has further ignited the intensity for the rematch between Barca and Atletico.